You know, sometimes we kind of reflect on advice we've been given through the years, and I think we've been given, anybody can think back and think, well, I've been given a lot of great advice, and sometimes not such great advice. But one thing that has always stood out for me, and I'll make the story very brief. When I wanted to become a hairdresser, when I was 20 years old, I was in Saskatoon. And my father had a very successful business that he wanted me to take over, and that was the goal. Now, my mother used to be a hairdresser. She used to do hair in Nigeria, Africa, back in the 50s. And that was always part of, she was a very creative woman. And I always kind of gravitated towards that. Long story short, I was in Italy when I was 16 years old. I went to this incredible salon. They were playing amazing music. I still remember what they were playing. Actually, it was a Kraftwerk track that they had on in the salon. I never even heard music like that, being from Saskatoon and visiting. And they had this, like, all these beautiful women were there, and all these guys, but everybody was dressed cool. And I'm like, wow, this is an amazing thing. And that was one of those profound experiences that stuck with me. So I came back to Saskatoon, back to Canada after my vacation, and shelved that whole experience for a while. And as my father started talking to me about becoming, taking over his business as a project manager, I considered doing it. I went to college for 1 year. The idea of being a hairdresser started to, it wouldn't leave me alone. And I was really nervous about telling my dad that I wasn't going to do that. So we used to have a TV room downstairs, and anytime that I wanted to talk to my dad, he was always down there watching TV, and he could tell if it was serious enough that if he'd turn off the TV, I knew that he was in. So I went downstairs one time, and I said to him, Dad, I really need to talk to you. And TV comes off, and I was terrified to tell him this. And I said to him, I don't think I'm going to be in the I don't think I want to take over your business. I think I want to become a hairdresser. And the only thing he said to me was, well, then be great at it. And I'll tell you that the support that came from those words, but it became more than support, because when I started to think about that advice of be great at it, it sort of kept the philosophy that, for good or bad, mostly it served me well, is that I don't sort of kind of do anything. I'm either all in on something or I'm doing something else, but there's no gray areas or middle ground. And I really got that from what my father told me when I was like 20 years old. So in terms of advice that has resonated the most throughout my career would be those words and the support and love that came behind those words. I think that's the best advice I've ever gotten.